It worked. All right, we're live. Yes, we are.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Hi, welcome. What's up? It's Conjuror Community time. It's time for Afternoon Astonishment. I'm here with Alex and Steve and Mr. Aaron Fisher. And today we're going to take a look at James Lewis. Now, I actually didn't know who this was, so I'm excited because I'm going to get to learn with you about James Lewis. But before we start, just take a moment, hit the like button and subscribe to Conjuror Community. You'll be notified every time we go with a live with a new video. So tell us about James. What's the deal with James?
So James Lewis, when I was coming up, was just known as a professional magician that worked the castle a lot and the LA scene, you know, basically working for the folks I wished I was working for, you know, and all of the material that's in this collection was sort of looked upon as the bar to achieve. You know, if you were a pro, you had material of this ilk, and all of the material that James does, it's sort of built on known premises within magic, but he cleaned up a lot of the rough edges and he just made beautiful pieces of magic. And you know, it was just inspirational stuff when I was coming up in magic, and you know, it just seemed like a perfect thing to bring into here and share with you all.
It's fair to say that James Lewis was on the castle scene when Adam and I were in Los Angeles. I think Adam was playing a lot of rock and roll gigs, but I used to see James Lewis at the castle a lot. He was a pro and a Vernon student and of that whole generation. And I think he prided himself on creating, like Alex says, streamlined, beautiful versions of the classics, commercial routines, right? It's pretty exciting that you never got to see him, Adam. This is going to be very much fun to see you doing it.
Yeah, I never did. It is pretty exciting. This is like a this is brand new. I've never seen any of his magic. I don't even know the guy. So I'm excited. Shall we just jump right in?
I'm curious what Steve has to say about James Lewis being in the Midwest. What was James someone that was in your world and in your consciousness?
Well, I'm not from the Midwest, right? I didn't move here in '99, but I've never
99. Okay,
I've never heard of him until you brought him up in our little pre-show. So I'm interested to see what it's all about. Sounds like a guy I'd be into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a worker. He sounds like a worker. That's what I like.
Yeah. I think that's why this material is good, because he's definitely that. He's working for a lot of folks, and you know.
Yeah.
Like Newell says, he owns the name Mismade Bill.
That's unbelievable.
He does own that trick. That is his. He fought real hard to make sure that he is the one that is attached to that premise.
Newell, be sure to tell him I said hello.
Here we go. Let's watch it.
Time visitors do we have here at the castle tonight? First timers? Oh, quite a few. Well, I know that sometimes when people come up to the castle, they wonder, how do those guys do those things? Is it really magic? Is it tricks? Sleight of hand illusions? I'd like to explain. Now, in order for me to explain this, I'm going to have to hypnotize you all. Mass audience hypnosis. You'll see what I mean in just a second. First, let me introduce a few lengths of rope. Now, you'll note that these ropes are decidedly different in length. I have a very short piece here, one that is a bit longer here, and one that's longer still right here. I'd like to have all three ropes examined. You, sir, if you would examine that one, and the next one, and the last one right over here. Have a good look at the ropes. Make sure that there are no wire springs, trapdoors, hidden gimmicks, assistants, anything like that. Now, you will notice a small piece of tape on the end of each rope. That's to keep them from becoming unraveled. But other than that, make sure it's ordinary household cotton rope, kind of rope that you probably have in your bedroom right now. All right. Was yours okay? Yes? Yes? And yes. Okay. As I said, hypnosis. What I mean is this. All the mysteries, all the illusions that you're about to see have two principles behind them that makes them work. First is sleight of hand, the dexterity of the fingers. Second is what magicians call misdirection, or psychology, or as I prefer to call it, suggestion. Now you can see that I eliminate the sleight of hand by holding the ropes way down here at the bottoms of my fingers. All the sensitivity, of course, is at the fingertips. So, without any sleight of hand, this allows me only one way to convince you that you're seeing an illusion, if in fact there is an illusion to see, and that is through suggestion alone. Suggestion so strong that it actually constitutes hypnosis. What's your name, please?
Kathy.
Kathy, have I done anything tricky here?
No.
Good answer, Kathy. Kathy, in just a moment, if you're hypnotized, these 3 pieces of rope will appear to be all the same size, but that's only if you're hypnotized. Now I'm going to hypnotize you all on the count of 3, but before I do this, I'll show you the fronts of my hands and I'll show you the backs. But it still happens on the count of 1, 2, 3 lengths of rope that are equal, E-Q-U-L, equal in length. Let's have a good look at these ropes. Make sure that they are in fact the same size. Here's the first length right here, which is exactly the same size as the second length, which is precisely the same size as the third length. That's 3 solid, separate, single, strong lengths of rope. Now, if you can see that these 3 ropes are all the same size, just hold your hand up in the air, just like that. Excellent, excellent. That means, of course, that you are now hypnotized. You will enjoy my show immensely. Have a good time. Now I'm going to break this hypnotic spell also on the count of 3. When I break the spell, you will remember nothing. And yet, you will want to applaud wildly. The more you applaud, the better you will feel. And that's on the count of 1, 2, and 3 lengths.
Wow.
You know,
That is like, that was so pro and clean.
Tight, right?
height, yeah.
Gosh.
You know,
I love that.
that trick right there is always underestimated. You know, for what it does to laymen.
It destroys that. That is
Oh.
a mind. Where did it get the name Professor's Nightmare? Anybody
Oh,
know?
well, you know what? I got a training in the back room on this, and I go into all of that.
Ah, that's right.
So, I don't remember the story right now, but basically this was someone's trick, and they told the story about a professor, you know, and that's how there's a story. But over the years, the story got thrown away, but the name remained.
And it has nothing to do with Vernon.
No, it's not. No.
Yeah,
But,
David, I've never seen that version, Professor's Nightmare either. It was so, the handling was so just direct and clean, clear. You know, it was so clear that it almost doesn't resemble the other way you can present that, which is way less clear.
Right.
Wow, yeah, he's really
A
polished.
lot of folks when they do that trick, they try to get more punches out of it, right? But if you look at what he did there, it's like 2 effects happened, right? They all became the same length. They all went back to their other lengths, and that was it. There was no byplay. There was no like getting into it and doing little gags. There was nothing. Just clean and to the point. And I don't know. I think there's something to be recommended about that. Just that structure for all magic, right? Just being clean and to the point. Less is more. You know what I mean? I really like it.
It always tends to feel like people add more phases to stuff because they're trying to add more impact. And it's really beautiful to see what happens when a person sells the effects that are there in the first place. You know, it's a lot of really strong magic.
Yeah. Ethan said that Christoph Glass's routine is really good. Yeah, I'm sure. Christoph is a great street performer, and you have to be very clear to perform on the street as well. So I can't remember. I think I've seen his routine, but I can't remember exactly which one it is. But I'm gonna go check it out. I know there's probably a video of it on our group. So where is James these days? Does anybody know? Is James still?
He's an LA guy.
He's still working. He's still making a living doing magic. I just don't think he's that interested in being in the public eye of magicians. This collection of stuff was never this is from a VHS tape. This never became a DVD. I think that some folks say that he might have regretted releasing that to magicians and, you know, wanted to just keep that material to himself. but he has not proliferated that and made it out there available for a modern generation of magicians. So it's sort of went away, and I think he's happy to just be a guy that does magic. And if magicians want to be interested in his stuff, they'll probably contact him, and I think he's probably happy with that way of being at this point.
Yeah. Alex, I just sent you a chat. Yeah, I mean, I think that when you come up with a really clever way to present, especially a classic trick like that, the last thing you really want to do is have every other magician in the world start doing it that way. Like you spend a long time developing your specific presentation on a classic trick. It looks like he competed at FISM in '88. Ron Porter says, well, that explains a lot. So we've got a real pro. I was just interested because we have a couple of more clips here, and coin. Okay, so this is the one we're going to do. Okay, so check this out. We're going to watch. I think this is the same. I can't tell if this is the same show or not.
This is all from the same show. I just basically edited out hunks of magic effects out of the same show.
CSB next. Okay. Yep. Sorry, I had the wrong one. I'm glad you said. Okay, here we go. Let's check it out. More of James Lewis, super pro magician.
Good evening and welcome to the castle. My name is James Lewis, and I am, in fact, a real magician. Thank you very much. Thank you. Before I start, let me take a quick poll. How many people here believe in magic? Some tough guys in the back, but that's okay. What's your name, please?
Barb.
Barb, and you are?
Deirdre.
Deirdre and Barb, you have the best seats in the house. You'll be able to see everything that happens. Now, I'm not going to start off with a trick, though. This is an illusion. An actual illusion with a $50. Now, it's a very simple illusion. But when I tell you it's simple, don't be disappointed. Doesn't mean it's bad. It only means it's simple. Absolutely simple. The whole idea is this. I'm going to rub my finger on this $50, and it's going to change into an entirely different coin. You're going to be spellbound, believe me. Here we go. I rub the $50, and it changes into a Chinese coin with a hole clear through the center. Now here's the strange part. If I rub it again, it changes again, this time into a Mexican coin. 20 centavos to be exact. One last rub, you'll find that it changes one last time back into a $50. Now remember what I said at the start, this whole thing? Just an illusion. You see, there never was a Chinese coin. Never was a Mexican coin. And there never was a $50.
Okay, so that was super clean.
Yeah.
And I know there was a couple of really technical positions that happened there, but that fried me there. That last, not the spider band.
Do yourself a favor, Adam, and watch the rest. The rest of the routine will probably give you some clue as to how that first part of the routine worked.
Okay.
Actually, illusion, that's not the right word. Premonition, that's a better word. You see, those coins exist. You know that because you've seen them. But you've seen them in your mind. You haven't seen them with your eyes for good reason. You see, I haven't started yet. I haven't. As a matter of fact, I haven't even taken the coins out of the purse. Deirdre, do me a favor, examine those coins. And Barb, examine the purse. Make sure that there are no more coins in the purse. No hidden compartments, secret slits, wire springs, anything like that. Okay, you examine the purse, it's okay? Okay, and Deirdre, you examine the coins? Mm-hmm. Deirdre, did you notice that these three coins are all different?
Yes.
That's very good. Sometimes people don't notice that, and that's when I know it's going to be a long show. The Mexican coin, it's a little smaller than the other two. It's made out of copper. The Chinese coin's made out of brass. It has a hole clear through the center for peeking. And the $50, this is the only one you can spend. This is the only important one. I'll tell you, it's the only one you need to pay any attention to whatsoever. As a matter of fact, so you don't get confused, I'll take the other two coins, the two foreign coins, put them back inside the purse. Out of sight, out of mind. Now the whole idea here is for me to make the $half change places with the 2 foreign coins that are inside the purse, and vice versa. Of course, since I'm a magician, I do it by magic. I'll show you what it looks like. When I do it, it's a wave.
Ooh.
So beautiful.
Now if the 2 foreign coins are out of the purse, you know what that means, don't you? You're not sure.
I'm not sure of anything right now.
What that means, of course, is that the $half has to be inside the... What's your name?
Steve.
Steve, I tell you what, I know that you weren't sure, so I'll tell you what, I'll do it again for you. And I'll slow it down. Okay?
Very slow.
I'll slow it down and I won't use the person. And Steve, I'll give you a tip, a little hint. Don't watch the hole in the Chinese coin. It throws people off. There they are, 3 coins, no purse. Steve, if I take the $half out, if the $half is here, what do I have to have here?
I hope you have the other 2.
2 foreign coins, absolutely. So if the $half is here, there's no way that it could be there.
All right.
They'd have to be over.
Well, sure.
Man, for those of you that got your hands on that Cranzo special, oh, you're happy right now. Wow. Okay.
This one even fools me. The other stuff, I know how to do it. This one, I have no idea, but I won't let that stop me. Undaunted, I will do it one last time. For the last time, the $half locked inside the purse. The 2 foreign coins here in my hand, $half in the purse. The last time. All I have to do is give a tap. And they change places once again. That's the $half. Changing places with the 2 foreign coins.
Yeah. Super,
Very nice.
super clean, right?
One of the better routines I've seen with that set. And if you think about it, that whole Spellbound sequence at the beginning, that triple Spellbound, he was just using the actual main part of that trick that we just saw and splitting it up so that he got 3 changes out of it, right?
That's pretty remarkable. I had not thought about that ever before.
It's pretty great construction. Again, just streamlining what exists out there into something that's just impenetrable. He's got a great magic mind. You know, he's able to sand off all the edges so that it just is very elusive.
I was as I was watching that, you know, I'm thinking to myself, this is really what's so great about these afternoon astonishments, right? Because it's just casual. We're sitting back and we're watching and we're getting takes on all these different magicians and how they handle how they handle things, how they present it. You know, you get a feel for who they were that you don't really get, you know, from a book or notes or something like that, you know. And I think it's important because so many of us have heroes that we try to emulate. You know, sometimes we do it to great detriment to ourselves. You know, when you're like too much like somebody, you know, he's every word, every move. But it's also great to be able to just take a little piece of that. Hey, I just like that little piece, you know, as if like when you're playing guitar, you just give that little quote of that song you like, you know. Yeah. You know, when you're on your lead, you just give a little quote. Blues guys do that a lot. But anyway.
You know, Aaron, I was just thinking about how at the castle back in the day, like as so many performers were focused on finding their stage persona or their character. And what we see here is a guy who really just is focusing on the magic and the effect. He's got a script that is so tight that he's following, especially that last one, the procedure is so clear. I'm going to do this. This is here. What happens if I close my hand and this happens? I mean, it's just really, I'd say classic, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's a very classic presentation. Yeah,
Absolutely.
But it's tight. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Aaron.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
No, that's all I had to say.
Yeah, no, it's incredibly tight. I mean, it's just a wonderful, every moment was so clear. He doesn't let anything infect the focus zone. You know what I mean? When he's ramping up to an effect, he's letting everything fall away and you're just watching so closely. And it's really wonderful. I mean, it's hard not to love it. It's so lovely and well done. You know what I mean?
And Newell mentions what happened with the purse at the beginning, which flew by me. I didn't even see that happen, Newell. So I'm going to go back and watch that. That's a pretty, I'm sure you've probably seen this routine a few dozen times though, since you know the guy. Awesome, man. That was a fantastic presentation of Copper, Silver, Brass, I gotta say. Should we watch this next one?
Yes. Next
Yeah,
one,
but-
let me give you a little prep on this. This first one, you're going to see a classical effect, and then he takes this classical effect to a new place with it by sort of changing the environment that he's working in. I don't want to spoil it because you should go on the ride, but what we're about to watch is one of those things that James is sort of world famous for, the second half of this effect. The first half's going to be very familiar to you, but the second half, he sort of changes the game, and that's when you'll see that, like, it's something different, and you pay attention because it potentially could fool you really bad. Enjoy.
Thank you. All right, your name's Barbara? Is that right? Okay, Barbara, do me a favor. Take a look at that. Go ahead. Have you ever seen one of those before?
An empty wallet, yes.
Well, that's a little more than an empty wallet. This is a magician's pocketbook. There's no bag. We don't need them because we're magicians. You can't hear anything inside. Do you see anything inside?
No.
Do you hear anything?
No.
And yet, since I'm a magician, I do keep money in there. That's $1, half dollar, 50 cents. Came out of the purse. You couldn't see it or hear it. I simply reached inside and took it out. Yes?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Now that's $1. That's enough for a cup of coffee, but no tip money. I don't want them to think I'm a piker, so there's the tip. Now I brought these 3 coins out for a reason. I want to show you something very strange. Have you ever seen one of these?
Just hypnotized.
This is a magician's invisible hole. I'll show you how it works. If I put it here in the center of the table, and I put the 3 coins directly over the invisible hole, all I have to do is this. I simply rub and push. And 1 coin goes through the hole, through the table. That's the first one. If you didn't catch it, don't worry about it. I'm going to do this 2 more times for you. All I have to do is get over the hole and push.
That was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That was so the move there was so minute. It was just like little tiny, so perfect.
It gets better.
2 coins have gone through the hole. These 2 have gone. 1 yet to go. The last one. All I have to do is push. And that's all 3 coins.
Come on, you gotta like that.
You gotta love that. Come on, right? How cool is that?
It's
The
so tight.
consistency there, the consistency and all that, oh, that was really great. Really great.
Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am basically a private party and corporate magician. I go to people's homes or corporations when they're having parties and do my magic. A couple weeks ago, I was out performing, and I did the same thing. I made the coins go through the table. When I finished, the cutest thing, a little girl about 6 or 7, she came up to me and she said, "Mr. Magician, would you come to my house and make the coins go through the table?" I said, "Well, sure, I'd be happy to, but you just saw me do it. Why do you want me to come to your house and do it?" And she said, "At my house, we have a glass table." If you could make the coins go through a glass table, why then I could see the coins go through the table. This gave me an idea. Just happen to have a glass table. And 3 coins. Now the idea is very simple. The idea is for me to cause these 3 coins to go right through the glass. but they're going to go through the hard way. That's Australian style. Barbara, do you have any idea what Australian style means?
Break the glass.
Well, what Australian style means is that the coins, when they go through, that they're going to be coming up from down under. That's Australian style. Now, those 3 coins are definitely under the glass, yes?
Yes.
No question in anybody's mind, right? Okay, watch closely. Look, it's just a room.
Okay, where's the answer?
Wow.
That's the first one through Australian style. If you look, you'll see that the glass is quite solid. Not harmed, not scratched, and I will do it again. 1 coin has gone, 2 coins yet to go. Right there. Watch again. Watch as the second coin goes through Australian style. That's the second one. That's the first one. That leaves 1 coin to go. Now, you know, if you think about this, you'll realize you couldn't see those coins go through the glass. There's no way, because my hand was covering it. So I'll tell you what, I'll move these 2 out of the way. Here's the third one, under the glass, and I won't cover it over. I'll explain what I do. Under the glass, I massage the coin and actually throw it.
Wow.
Yeah, you're gonna need to work on that one for a little while, guys.
A little bit.
Fortunately.
A little bit. As we used to say in New Jersey, a little bit. Take a little bit.
Well,
Never saw him do that before.
You can see why it's world famous.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I must admit, though, when he took the cover off and I saw that glass table, my initial thought was, oh, great, I got to travel with that.
Yeah, right.
That was my initial.
Steve, it was not a call to action. Just enjoy
I
it.
understand that. But that's just where my mind goes. It's like, great, I've got to pack it, carry it, don't drop it.
I'm just
You know-
gonna have a piece of glass in every town waiting for you at every show.
That's right.
I was-
Call ahead, rent the glass table.
I was excited when he got to that. I think that it's fun to watch somebody who's really figured out the exact presentational points and how you take an audience on a journey, because he tells the story of the little girl and then he says, so you know what I did. I mean, and everybody in their minds thinking, is it about to happen? And then he reveals the glass. So it's just really nice tension and release there on the presentation.
I had an opportunity when I saw a friend work at the castle. I drove down, and stayed down there for the weekend and watched a friend work, and got to sit at the bar next to James Lewis with my friend, and just talk shop about magic. And he pointed out something that totally goes back to what you said earlier, Adam. He was commenting on the fact that he felt that like magic was taking a different turn, because he thought that in the 70s and the 80s that magic was way more scripted than it is now, and people are just way more loosey-goosey. And he felt that that was one of the reasons that his magic had the strength that it did, because every punch was planned. He had it scripted so tight, to your point, Adam. He knew every word, he knew every motion, he knew everything that was going to happen, and there wasn't a lot of room for sort of improvisation. It was more about being on that script and riding those rails to the end, and all of those applause breaks are built into that. So it was just interesting to see his take on that, because I definitely like to have a little bit more loosey-goosey, and I like to play a little bit more, and my script is a little bit looser than what James would ever he probably wouldn't approve of what I do. You know what I mean? Because he's so tight with that script. He wants it to be every punch is the same every show.
Can I throw out? Go ahead, Aaron.
He's a castle guy, and he said very clearly that he does private parties and had an emphasis on corporations, and I think his style really worked for formal situations. I mean, it was clearly designed to maximize the formality of those situations.
I mean, when we think, Aaron, we talk about often like having your stand-up set, having your close-up set, and we always talk about your formal close-up set, and that's it right there. Like, that's the circumstance and situation in which you want to have those showpieces. Example being if you're going to carry around a giant pane of glass so you can do that effect, you want to make sure that you've got the perfect theatrical setting and the perfect way to do that. I mean, that's not just something you take to every close-up show, right?
Right.
You know, I wonder if that was why he couldn't do that in the actual close-up room proper, was because he had that big pane of glass he was carrying, and they wouldn't let him strike that table and put that in there, you know?
Impossible to strike that table. I mean, that table is humongous in there.
Right.
I guess you
It doesn't even
could,
feel like
but
it doesn't even feel like it fits the door.
no, right, yeah.
It's probably built in place.
It's interesting, you know, he's in the basement, and the basement used to be the close-up room before they built the close-up room. When they opened the castle, the basement theater was the close-up room. I think this video is well after that. I think he probably had to set up down there.
Right. I think you're right. So I'm not going to let him set up that table anywhere, right? We'll let you do it down there and put your camera stuff down there. Just don't affect our bar business up here. We're trying to work.
I mean, it's hard to imagine that table being much bigger in there. You know, Ron says that Richard Turner switches out tables in there, but you know.
Oh, okay.
But you know, you can switch it out for a larger table without it being a gigantic pane of glass. And who knows? And we don't. Maybe
they
he
let
was
Richard,
shooting, you know.
they let Richard Turner switch out the table. They wouldn't let me even switch out the coat hook in the back room.
You're no Richard Turner, man.
Yeah, I guess I'm no Richard Turner. They're like, no,
Really?
you can't have another coat hook. Filming in the hat and hair. Yeah, you know, they used to have these really weird rules about filming your act at the castle. Everybody did it, but they still had formal rules about it. I wonder how they are nowadays. I wonder if they're even stricter.
They must be.
I see people with footage and pictures and stuff coming out all the time, like in their instructional stuff. So you know, maybe they're able to get special favors, but it seems like it's possible. I remember when I was trying to get stuff taped, it was an ordeal.
Yeah, I think they've streamlined a lot of that stuff, or at least they had before everything shut down. I mean, people now sign up on pads. They sign up on digital sign up in order to reserve basement work time.
Right. It's like truly like open mic night now. Okay.
And you know, when Adam and I were out there and hearing about it from Jim Steinmeier, who was the president at the time, they had gone a long way towards making things easier on performers. A lot of the things that count. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they got away from the old timey sort of machine politics way of getting things shot and photographed there and sort of bumped it up a little into the modern era, you know.
We can only hope.
Hard to say.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought in James Lewis footage and put him in my consciousness. He is he's really great, and I'm kind of like baffled that I have not discovered him before now. So
I think he's real good at keeping the secret, you know. I think at the time he was trying to sell some videotapes, but after that he was like, he let it go, and now he's just happy to be an unknown to the magic folks.
all right. 3 great routines, certainly polished as you can get them. Presentation perfect, moves perfect, and that middle one, that the coins through table, or that last one that coins through table.
Really
I
good.
can't even imagine the kind of practice you got to put in for all those phases, making them look that clean.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if that videotape is available still. Is it, Alex?
Go look on eBay. Yeah, good luck. It's tough to find. They're pretty obscure nowadays. And, you know, with the VHS tapes, the sooner the better, because they are actively deteriorating as we speak right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get a video cassette and put it in and play it and try to digitize it, it might have, you know, some deterioration on the tape. So the sooner the better. If you're interested, go and get that thing now, because it's not going to be around forever.
All right. Well, that was fun. Thanks for joining us today. Afternoon Astonishment. Any last words, anyone?
Thank you so much, Alex. Thanks for bringing in this rare find.
You're welcome.
Cool. We'll see you guys next time. Afternoon Astonishment. All right.